y'all, Erin from Stitch Witch Reading here, and I am filming today to talk about Lagoon by Nnedi Okorafor. So I picked this book up on the recommendation of Onyx Pages and Evelyn from the Internet's collaboration video, Read a Damn Book Hotline. If you haven't seen that video, it's super cute. I will link to it in my description. They did a live chat today to talk about the book. I managed to finish it with 20 whole minutes to spare before their chat, because I'm nothing if not good on a deadline. No, I'm not. So if you don't know, Lagoon is a story of an alien ship landing in Lagos, Nigeria. 3 total strangers show up on Bar Beach. They end up interacting with the aliens, and it's basically the story of them helping the ambassador from the alien ship make initial contact with people. There's a lot of layers to this story. The narration moves through quite a few characters, some of them not even human, which is, well, I mean, obviously it's alien, not all of them are human, some of which are also animals. Sorry, please excuse my dog. There is a squirrel outside. Yeah, I don't really want to just read the description on the back because I don't think that it really does justice to the story in the book. But yeah, basically aliens. And it invites us to ask ourselves the question, what are we gonna do when aliens show up? I really, really enjoyed this book. I only have one negative thing to say about it. I'm just gonna get it out of the way at the beginning so I can spend the rest of this video gushing about how much I liked reading this book. My only con is that there is some domestic violence in the book. Lots of slapping going on. I'm not really here for that. It does move the plot forward in some points, so I don't think it's something that could have just been left out, but it was also, you know, a little uncomfortable to read, and I did, it did read a little bit slower than I may otherwise have done. The domestic violence pretty much can be laid squarely at the feet of Father Oke, who's a church leader. So, you know, you could read it and delve into thoughts on Christianity and, Mia, hush. Sorry, somebody walked past the house. How dare they? So Father Oke kind of has a character named Chris in his thrall. Chris is married to Adora, one of our main characters. So yeah, it's Father Oke gets what's coming to him. So I'm kind of okay with it. But that's my only con. Out of the way. Other than that, I loved this book. Obviously, Lagos is a real place. I didn't know anything about the city before reading this. I appreciated the fact that Okorafor doesn't get bogged down in telling us the geographic details of this real city. I think instead what she does, and she does it really well, is tells us what the tone of the city is. You know, it's this book is very fast-paced, and some of that pace feels driven by the pace of the people living in this city. You know, it's obviously aliens is going to cause some chaos, but there's a feeling of underlying chaos that I think all really populous cities have, that I think she captures really well. So we do have a few specific locations, but by and large, it's just, you just get the tone, which I really liked. And I think that the fast-paced tone of the city really complements the pace of the book. It all works together beautifully. So in terms of characters in the book, the narration switches points of view frequently. The book is written in 3 acts, and actually at the beginning of each act, we get the perspective of an animal, which I thought was great. Because I think it's important to remember that humans do not walk the earth by ourselves. If ever aliens do land, it's going to affect animals as well. So the book actually opens with the perspective of a swordfish. We also get a tarantula and a bat. It's really well done. Kind of really makes you think about, you know, the animals that share this planet with us and what we're doing to them with our horrible environmental practices and polluting the waters and, you know, on and on. I'm sure I don't have to elaborate on that. So in addition to the animals, there are some mythical elements, or folk tales. I don't know a lot about African folktale or mythology. This didn't go so deeply that I felt like I needed to fall down a Google rabbit hole trying to learn what some of these characters are. I was kind of familiar with some of the names from reading other fantasy novels, and that was sort of enough to be getting on with. But you could definitely fall down that Google rabbit hole, and I'm sure that it would be very enjoyable. And then we have our human characters. I've touched on Adora a little bit. She is a marine biologist. She has a PhD. She's a professor. I'm here for all of that. I love a well-educated woman as a lead in a book. In addition to Adora, we have Ayodele. She is the alien. And Agu and Anthony. And those are our 4 like main characters. Agu is a soldier, and he's used to sort of comment on some of the corruption in the military and the police in Nigeria. Sorry, my dog again. And Anthony is a rapper, so he knows how to reach large audiences, and that was important in the book as well. And we have all of these wonderful side characters. Mia! Hush! We don't need none of that. Sorry. So Kola was my favorite of the side characters. She's Aodora's daughter. There's this really wonderful scene where she actually picks up a camera. She is the one that is filming Ayodele as Ayodele makes her initial address to the people of Nigeria saying, hey, you know, aliens are here. Kola is about 8 years old, and she's the one filming it. And I just thought that it was wonderful that nobody told this little girl, like, hey, you know, give the camera to someone else. They just let her be the one that filmed it, and that gave me all the warm fuzzies. And the filming is important because that's where we kind of, not the filming itself, but that's the moment where Ayodele is addressing people for the first time is important because we kind of have all of our characters there at once. This book does a beautiful job of interweaving all of their narratives while making it seem like they were all very separate. So I've talked about Father Oke, the Christian leader, and his connection to Chris. I did not like him. You're not supposed to like him. He is not likable. Moving on. We had Black Nexus, which was a queer and trans student group, and their inclusion really made me happy. You know, they're a gay rights group that show up in this mob. Goes about as well as you would expect for a bunch of queer people to be confronting soldiers and Christians. But they're just the fact that they were there. Representation matters. In addition to them, we have an unnamed boy who's also about 8 years old, 7, 8-ish, and he is mute. It's implied that he's neurodivergent, and he also becomes really important in the story. I don't want to give away what happens to him, but his pieces of the narration I thought were really beautiful because it talks about, you know, he doesn't have the words to express this. He cannot make the noises that he wants to make. But he has his own ways of filtering what he's seeing and what's going on around him. Yeah, so those are kind of there's other characters as well, but like I said, I don't really want to give too much away. The narration really does a fantastic job of weaving it all together, all of these different perspectives, and making it all feel very important. Yeah, so some great themes in this book that, you know, it really invites you to explore. What is the difference between magic and science? I touched a little bit on the fact that we've got some folktale characters that, you know, show up in the story. There's also our 3 main human characters each have a power. This is not a power granted to them by the aliens. This is something inherent to them. And it's not treated as some sort of like scientific oddity or something like that. And that another theme running through the book is, you know, women specifically being accused of being witches. Father Oke accuses a lot of women of being witches. Again, really glad that he got what was coming to him. Yeah, it's an ongoing theme of the power that women have and the men that try and take that power away from them. But I liked that it didn't invite you to debate if witchcraft was real or not, or, you know, whether people could have magic powers. It was a beautiful blending of fantasy and sci-fi, which I read a lot more fantasy than I do sci-fi, so seeing those elements that are more familiar to me as a reader kind of made the made the aliens more fun. Yeah, and like I said, I appreciated the not inviting you to debate whether witches or magic was real or not. Just saying, hey, this is what it is. Sorry, my dog. All right, well, I don't think she's gonna stop, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Lagoon, cannot recommend it enough. Definitely check it out, give it a read. It was very, very, very good.